Welcome back to the Keto Bistro. We're going to look at fajitas today and taco seasoning. So mostly the seasoning is what I'm focusing on, but I'm going to show you how I use it quickly. So I'm going to make my own taco seasoning, fajita seasoning. And the reason why is because when you check out the carbs in the packs or in the little container of taco seasoning, you can see, and I know it's not a lot. So this taco seasoning has 4 grams for 2 teaspoons. For the dry mix, I know it's not a lot, but 4 carbs, when you're looking at 20 a day, 4 takes out a lot. This one is 1 teaspoon, so it's the same. 2 grams for 1 teaspoon. So 2 teaspoons would have 4. And then this one, 2 teaspoons, 4 grams. So basically all of your pre-made fajita and taco seasoning has a good bit of carbohydrates. And the reason why is because there's sugar in it. So I make my own and I add a little bit of the golden monk fruit sweetener. So I'm going to show you how to do it, and I'll, of course, list the ingredients in the description below. So the first thing we need, chili powder. We're going to use 4 teaspoons of chili powder. Then our cumin, we need ground cumin, 2 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons paprika. A half a teaspoon of the monk fruit sweetener. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon onion powder, a half a teaspoon cayenne pepper, and then I add just a little bit of salt and pepper to this. I usually salt and pepper my meat before I cook it, so I don't add a lot of salt and pepper to this, but just a little bit. So I've mixed my fajita taco seasoning into, mix it up and put it into another container, another spice jar. And I have a little bit of room left. So what I like to add is the tajin. It's already a taco type seasoning. I like to add this. It gets all the other ingredients, but it has a little bit of lime flavor. So that just adds an extra special ingredient to some of the meat if I'm not able to add lime when I'm cooking. I'm just going to open it right up and I'm just going to pour it in until it's basically full. I'm going to leave it just a little bit so I can mix it up. And that does it for your homemade dry seasoning. Now for the fajitas. So these are going to be easy. And I'm going to do quesadillas instead of fajitas. I'm going to use an Olay Extreme Wellness shell. So I'm going to add my chicken to the pan. It's already cooked. So this is just shredded up rotisserie chicken. Turn the heat on the oven to medium. And I'm going to add not quite a tablespoon of butter. I have 1 cup of chicken. So normally if I'm cooking with raw chicken, I'll marinate a little bit with some Worcestershire sauce. I'm just going to go ahead and add it in. And then a good bit of lime lemon juice. You do not have to do this, but I'm going to add it. I like to get a little bit wet flavor in there with the butter. So a tablespoon of lemon lime juice and a half tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. So as the butter starts melting and the chicken starts soaking up some of the lime and Worcestershire, I'm going to add some chopped peppers and onions, not a lot. So this is about a quarter of a cup, maybe a little bit more, maybe a half a cup of peppers and onions, not too much. And I'm using the sweet mini peppers. If you're really watching your carbs and you're not wanting to add onions and peppers, then don't. Just saves you on the carbs. But they're thinly sliced. And so what this is going to do is give me some fajita chicken that's left over out of my quesadilla, so I can eat it with another meal. So I can use another quesadilla, or I can just eat it as fajitas without a flour tortilla. Just eat the meat. So now my mixed up fajita seasoning. Shake it up real well. And I'm going to add a good bit all over the top of all of it. So it is on medium. I just want to kind of get the vegetables softened a little bit. The meat's already cooked, so it's just soaking up the juices to get the flavor. So I like mine to have a real nice butter flavor. You can see it's soaking it up real well, changing color. So I'm just going to add another half a teaspoon of butter. And now I'm going to turn it down to low simmer and let it simmer for another 60 seconds. Vegetables are looking pretty soft. I don't like them completely soft. I like a little bit of crunch, but not too much. Okay, once it's cooked to your liking and the juice is soaked in, I'm going to just put the chicken in a bowl to the side. So I still have a nice juicy pan. And you can use any of the tortillas that you like. I'm using the Ole Mexican Tomato Basil, the Extreme Wellness. So 1 flour tortilla. And it's really not a flour tortilla. It's a little bit whole wheat and flaxseed, which gives you a lot of fiber. So you're getting 4 net carbs, but you have 11 grams of fiber in there. That brings it down to the 4 net carbs. These are delicious. This is becoming one of my favorite companies, Ole Mexican Foods. I'm just going to throw it right there on top. And so this is going to be the inside of my shell. I'm going to turn it back up to medium. And toast the tortilla. Okay, the tortilla is mostly soaked up. Some of the juice, you can tell the difference in that side. I'm going to add a little bit of butter to the pan for both sides. This toasts it up real nice. I'm going to start with the same side again on the bottom. Turn it over to the other side. And I'm going to add half of the meat mixture back to it. And so I'll eat the other half of the meat mixture with salad, sour cream, salsa, guacamole later for a meal. And then this right here is going to give me 2 meals. I'm not going to eat the whole quesadilla. I cut it into 4 wedges. But one of the reasons I like the Ole Mexican Food Company is they've now come out with cheeses as well. So here's some quesadilla shredded cheese. It's like what you would get at the Mexican restaurant. So I'm going to use, 1 ounce of this gives you 1 gram of carbohydrates. So I'm going to use a half a cup of the Ole cheese. And you'll see why it's so big that's why it actually is going to give me 2 servings. So now that it's toasted, I'm just going to work on melting the cheese. And I'll serve this with a little bit of lettuce, sour cream, salsa. So this whole tortilla has 10 carbs, 10 net carbs. So I'm cutting it in half, 5 net carbs per meal. With the salad and everything, I'm getting around 7 or 8, depending on how much sour cream avocado that you eat with your salad. So here's my finished meal. I've cut the quesadilla up into 4 wedges. So I'm storing 2 and storing the meat for snacks or meals later. I have my salsa and my lettuce on my plate. I'm going to add crema mexicana, and you can do sour cream. This is just a little bit creamier, so I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of that. And 2 tablespoons has 1 carb. And then guacamole. So this is just some homemade guacamole. I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of that, maybe a little bit more. And there's my finished meal. Ready to go. Delicious, filling, fat macros are excellent. You get your protein, you get your fats, and very little carbs. So for the guacamole, you can watch my video on using avocados as dips and spreads for some fresh guacamole. Thanks for watching the Keto Bistro. Don't forget to like and subscribe.